Hi, today's project is something a little different, taking some old school railroad graffiti and pumping it up from 2D to 3D. Our subject is Herby, drawn by Herbert Meyer, who was a switchman in St. Louis, according to the internet. Unlike current graffiti, old ones were simple line drawings hastily scrawled by railroad employees and not the gigantic car covering pieces of modern times. We're going to transform his sketch into a little scene. We start by making the diorama base out of pink foam, carving and forming it, and covering it with grout to portray sand. I'm liking grout more and more. If you find a color you like, it becomes a one-stop ground material with no sifting, sorting, baking, gluing, isopropiling, and whatnot. Just put the grout on and maybe some paint. Next, we move on to creating the trunk of the palm tree. I used a piece of copper wire and wrapped it with overlapping layers of that old school buff-colored masking tape. The old masking tape is actually horrible for masking, but works pretty well as a palm trunk. Then the trunk was base coated. While that paint was drying, I made Herby's poncho. Herby is a simple low poly model done in a blender and 3D printed. His poncho is crafted from tissue paper and diluted white glue, a technique I learned while I was a juvenile miscreant reading about Shepard Payne's dioramas. While the poncho was drying, I dry brushed the palm trunk to make it look more palm and less wire and tape. The palm leaves were next. I painted them on a manila folder, then cut them out, taking a few chunks along the edges for that authentic palm goodness. I put a little curve into them by drawing them between my fingers, then attached them to the trunk. Herby's tree gets 5 leaves, 3 to the back and 2 to the front. Any more to the back and it would be a mullet palm. Now, we paint the poncho in bands of different colors. I looked at a whole bunch of authentic Mexican poncho and blanket pictures, then simplified those patterns to match my mini painting skills. In other words, it doesn't look authentic at all, but I really wish it did. Onto the sombrero, another 3D print. Again, it gets a base coat, followed by an attempt at a realistic pattern. Since my 3D color version of Herby is wearing Mexican accoutrements, I decided to go with a Mexican flag color theme. I think it fits him. Last is the final assembly of the model elements. The sombrero goes on Herby, and we have to get the angle just right for perfect napping. Then Herby takes his place of honor at the base of the palm tree. I think Herby makes a good mascot for the channel, but he's been snoozing under that tree long enough, and it's time for him to do some work. Namely, asking you to comment and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.